All right. First of all, awesome being here. Great hosts. This is our third time being in London. We've had really great experiences, second time playing at Wembley. And so, really appreciate it. I thought the fans, the atmosphere and environment was awesome. So it was great to be here. And it was great for our guys to come out and play the way that they did. I thought we had a really great week of preparation, and I thought it translated. We talk about practice performance equaling game reality. I thought that came to life today. And I thought everybody was involved. I thought the defense was outstanding, got stop after stop. They got the one drive a little bit later on, but I thought we really controlled the game defensively. 6 different guys with sacks, 10 different guys on offense with catches. I thought Matthew did an excellent job, to be able to lead 3 touchdown drives with our first 4 drives. I know we had a 5th in the first half where we just kind of were trying to run the clock out. Had a couple opportunities in the second half, but then ultimately it was cool to be able to hit Terrence Ferguson for his first touchdown. Devontae gets 3, Matthew throws for 5. I thought Kyron ran tough versus, a really good run defense. And, I thought the kicking game was solid, being able to hit all the extra points. I thought we covered kicks well when we did want to be able to kick touchbacks. Josh did a nice job, and I thought Ethan, when he did have to punt, handled that really well. So there's a lot of penalties that ended up extending drives for us where there were, I thought, the right calls that Devontae drew a handful of those. And, we'll continue to improve, but man, it'll make for a much more enjoyable flight home, and it's great to be 5-2 at the bye. What do you think? Here's what I would say. I think it's a tremendous credit to really our players and their mental toughness and their resolve and their understanding of, hey, it is a different time clock. Let's not make it a bigger deal. Let's be ready when the game kicks off to show up. Let's do everything within our control, but let's not waste our emotional or mental energy on things that we can't control. Here's what we could control. Great week of preparation in Baltimore. Unbelievable host the Orioles were for us. Really had a great week there. And then we got in late yesterday morning. I thought the guys did a great job of being able to sleep on the plane. Reggie did an excellent job of facilitating and understanding of, hey, what we really tried to make the trip was similar to what we do in terms of going west to east, which we're very familiar with. We got our body clocks adjusted to Baltimore, and it's a little bit different timetable, but, you say 3.5-hour difference when we kicked off at 2:30 here. Don't worry about doing all the math, Gary, all right? But we were just trying to make it a West Coast to East Coast trip, and I think the way the guys played, showed that it was the right decision, and it's a hats off to those guys. But I think there's a lot of people behind the scenes that deserve a ton of credit for making, a 9-day trip, where you pick up your whole operation and you go somewhere else, whether it's the Carter Crutchfields of the world, the Brendan Bergers, the Dan Demetrisons, obviously Reggie Scott and his group have been instrumental, our ops group. So really grateful, but this will make for an enjoyable flight home. Proud of our team. Yeah. Straight off the bat, you were ruthless. Yeah. Yeah, I thought really our guys did a great job. I think we ended up being 2 for 2 on those 4th downs. Obviously, the one to Terrence Ferguson was big, and then the one to Kyron Williams early on in the game on the 4th down and 3 was big. But we came in to, play to win the game. We always want to be aggressive. We want to be smart. I think when you have confidence in your players, it allows you to be able to do that, and there was a lot of examples of that. So thought, being able to open the game up to 21-0, and then to be able to kind of just control and slow the second half down a little bit. But our defense was instrumental. I thought the offense did a great job. It was a good team win. I'm sorry, can you start from the beginning? Thank you. You mentioned about 10 different pass catches. Yep. It's funny you say that. I think it's such a good reminder for us that we've got a lot of players that we have a ton of trust in as coaches. Obviously, Matthew, to be able to spread the ball around and let the ball go where the coverage dictates. I think the best offenses that I've been a part of, everybody's involved. You can do either or based on what they're doing, and we've got a lot of guys that we want to continue to lean on. Obviously, Puka and Devontae have been the guys that have kind of led the way for our pass game, but we've got a lot of other guys that it's a good reminder, even when we lost him last week, of, hey, let's use all of our eligibles. Let's continue to lean into being a complete offense. You just so happen to have 2, number 1 receivers, and you want to get them their touches, but let's also make sure that we get all these other great players involved. I think it makes you more difficult to defend, and, ultimately it's always a player's game. I was happy for those guys today. I thought he was excellent. In the tight red area, just being able to finish some of those throws. He and Devontae obviously had a great rapport down in there. Thought the fourth down, conversion where he ended up hitting, Terrence Ferguson was awesome. What a great patient route. What a great job by him to draw him off sides to even allow us to be able to go for it, where you can elicit a little bit, some of those defensive structures where they're basically playing zero with no post player. And then I thought the progression that he had to be able to get Mumph his first touchdown was awesome. So Matthew was outstanding. I thought he, orchestrated just, great offensive drives. Thought he had some really good throws on some third downs where we didn't come down with it, but he was in total command. He took great care of the football, and that's been really consistent for the year. But it was awesome to see him and Devontae make some really tight window catches and convert, where two fades and then kind of a little, like a run alert down there where he ends up one-handing it. He gets the PI and still ends up scoring. So Devontae was on one today, and our guys had a good day. Matthew was excellent. Yeah, I think the best thing is that we were able to be pretty efficient on some early downs where it earned the right to be able to rush the passer. Our defensive coaches do such a great job of presenting a variety of looks that are problematic for offenses. I give them a ton of credit, and then the players bring it to life. But that's been a consistent theme with our group. We want to continue to lean on it, and really just proud of the coaches and players, and they were outstanding today. Yeah. Yeah, I think you just mentioned it. I like being able to, when we've got 4 legitimate NFL tight ends and you got them all up and active, well, let's take advantage of that. Let's be able to do some different things where we're not just in 11 personnel all the time. We've got guys that are functional on the line of scrimmage. They can make plays in the pass game. And so I think we're just continuing to learn. As the season goes, you might have an idea of what you think you're going to be, but it's about utilizing all the personnel that you do have. And I think this is an exciting thing for us to be able to build on. We'll have some time to be able to look at it. Obviously, it's always predicated on the opponent, but, it always starts with us. And, I want to make sure that I do a better job, and then really us collectively of taking advantage of the depth that we have at some of these different positions, so that it can make you a little bit more difficult to defend. You would, wouldn't you, man? All right, that's a vet move, Gary. Yep.
Two, going into the bye 5-2 is a lot different than the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
Just kind of assess how that's going.
Yeah, well, it is a lot different than the last ones. We were 1-4 last year. I know you know that, Gary. Thanks for bringing that back up, man. But we did finish better, all right? So I want to see us be able to put it together. I'm really proud of this group. And, I can't think of a time where you've had 2 more gut-wrenching losses the way that those unfolded. We obviously had some good breaks against Indianapolis, but our guys, I just really love this team. There's something about this team where the way that they go to work, the intentionality, it's about the individuals, and you just love each of those individuals and then how they make up the collective. And the greatest team sport that there is what we look at it as. There's a lot of great sports, but football, in my opinion, is the greatest team sport. And the answer to the Devontae thing, I thought it was great. You get a lot of those types of coverages. It's tight, sticky. There's no vertical grass. You got to be able to win those one-on-ones. He did that consistently. He was strong. I think the rapport that they had really throughout the week ends up translating. It was really cool, and it was cool to see how much fun those guys had. I love watching our group, whether it's our players and our coaches, enjoy themselves. They earn the right to be able to enjoy it, and we'll have a fun, long flight home too.
Last one, Nate. Just on Matthew and Devontae, they both talked about how they wanted to get more consistent, especially in the red zone. So I guess how much of a step forward can today be?
I think it's big, Nate. Momentum's a powerful thing. I think just being able to have it come to life. You knew that you had so much confidence in these 2 special players, and then it's really just about getting on the same page. Repetition is the mother of learning. You forget Matthew didn't really get a lot of reps with Devontae. He was getting a lot of those reps with Jimmy when he was out with the back. It's hard to make those things up throughout the course of the year, but slowly but surely, I think they both had the great communication. I think there was excellent collaboration across the board throughout the course of the week, and I was really happy for them. They brought it to life, and hopefully we expect more of that as we finish out this back half of the season. Thank you, guys. Great host. Appreciate it.